Welcome back to another episode of Pink Table Confidential, your favorite grown woman safe space. I am your host, Montanna, and today's episode, y'all, it is layered like my mama's red velvet cake, all right? Now, we're going to be talking about something that I know a lot of y'all feel, but why y'all ain't saying it out loud, okay? And that is being the villain in someone else's story and no longer apologizing for it. We're also going to be breaking down this Diddy verdict and what it's really revealing about how women are treating each other online. And we're going to be dragging a Dear Kitty letter from a man who's mad about women ordering appetizers. And I'm also going to be giving you a little sweet glow up with our Pineapple Kisses spotlight. All right. So before I get into it, y'all already know this show is forever and always sponsored by Sweet Kitty Club, and that's where I make feminine care products for the girls who like to keep it sweet. And by sweet, we use clean ingredients for good hygiene. So please head over to sweetkittyclub.com. When you fill your cart up, use code PINKTABLE for a sweet discount. All right. And I gotta thank all of y'all. Y'all, we are at episode 5. Can you believe it? Y'all have been liking, sharing, and supporting, and I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. So thank you. So let's get to it. We're gonna start with this Diddy verdict. Now, if you've been online, then you have seen the internet erupting about this case, not just about the verdict, but just about how women are reacting to each other. Like, they have been threatening to cancel each other who don't agree with how they saw this trial. Y'all heifers are really taking this online bullying too far. Now, for the ones who are saying, well, if you celebrating this verdict, it just tells me everything I need to know about you. Girl, shut up. Okay? Like, respectfully. But we're going to recap it anyway. He was found not guilty on the racketeering and the trafficking charges, which were the most serious charges. And he was found guilty on the prostitution part of the case. And we'll have to wait until I believe it's October the 3rd before we even know what the sentencing is going to be. Honestly, I think the jurors didn't find him liable, not because the case wasn't serious, but because they just didn't believe Jane Doe's and Cassie's testimony. I don't think any of us, most of us, did not see them as being victims. Let's play a game. Let's put 5 fingers up. Put a finger down if you ever dated older guys while you were in high school or college. Put a finger down if you preferred older guys because they had their own cars or, stability. Put a finger down if you were told you were mature for your age. You probably was wearing high heels in school. Put a finger down if you ever did some dumb shit to prove your love. Put a finger down if your freak level depends on who you getting freaky with. You might as well put a finger down if you've ever dated a D-boy. This is how I came to the conclusion, partnered with their testimonies. I mean, it just wasn't given black and white, and we got to be real. It's not about whether they deserved what happened, because nobody deserves to be treated like that, but it's whether you saw them more as a victim, point blank. I'm not excusing anything. I'm just pointing out how complex everything was. The women didn't sound coerced, they sound complicit, and that's just my opinion. And I'm not cheering for Puff, but I'm also tired of watching black men get overcharged just to make an example out of them. But some of the comments that I have been seeing online have been pretty interesting, to say the least. I wanted to read a couple of comments that I saw. Sharon Jersey Girl says, so does this mean they have to give him back all his baby oil? Girl. Sandy Frey said, I would check the jury bank account. So now y'all thinking he buying the jurors off. Billy Hunter said, money will get you out of anything. And Ray Ray said, how did Diddy get cleared of all these things, yet R. Kelly is still in there? Just curious. Well, Ray, R. Kelly was actually having sex with minors, and that's not allegedly. They were able to prove that in court, that these women were underage. So come on now. But you know what? I did do an interview with attorney Heather Nicole because I was trying to see now if I could get some justice for Keisha who said she was victimized by Pookie in West Dallas. So she thought if she did a threesome with him, it would strengthen their bond. When instead the other chick ended up swooping them up, and now she mad that it didn't work out like she wanted to. She was like, I didn't really want the threesome. I did this when I didn't want to do it. Heather said it's a no-go. It's not enough money that Pookie has or power for the DAs to even care. And, that's really messed up. Okay, I hate that for Keisha. But we even took a deeper dive into the $1 million question that I had, which is if Cassie would have came with the same evidence that they brought up in court, if she would have brought that to her civil case, would have been the same verdict? Her answer to that was very telling, and you can hear that conversation or see that interview on our YouTube channel for the After Party Live. But listen, ladies, I'm telling you, all that is really giving performative feminism, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of it is rooted in our own trauma and how we define victimhood. But my question for you is, do you really believe Cassie and Jane Doe were victims? And before you answer, how I got here was from listening to actual trial notes from respected outlets, not TikTok. And you do know that the transcripts are public. So if you went down that rabbit hole over these last couple of months like I did, then yeah, I want to know if you think Cassie is a victim. I mean, if you're a Cassie, hey, you're a Cassie. I'm not a Cassie. I'm more like a Portia Williams. Okay, y'all, did you see what she did? She is literally like the first African American to successfully scam a Nigerian. Okay, everybody's like poor Peter because he's like telling people he felt targeted. Like Peter, I'm sorry, not Peter, Simon. Simon, how did you get her? Okay. Now, you already know you better get what you get and don't throw a fit and get up out of our face with all of that mess, okay? Now, y'all, we got to get to the meat and potatoes. But for real, jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think, okay? Now, have you ever been said that you are the villain of someone else's story? It's like time you start showing up for yourself, people are feeling like you flipping the script. You start setting boundaries and now you switched up. You ended a friendship that ran its course and now you fake. You stop overextending yourself and now you the one with the problem. Like, how did we get here? Okay. But the truth is, just because you hurt doesn't mean I'm the one to hurt you. Because sometimes people are hurt by your healing and they can't tell the difference between betrayal and self-preservation. And that's rule number 1. You are never allowed to say no without being labeled. And, for some of y'all, the minute you started saying no, that's when y'all became the villain. For real. She acting funny. She acting brand new since she got a little podcast. She too busy for people now. No, I'm not acting funny. I'm acting healed. I'm not too busy. I'm just no longer available to be drained, no longer to be trauma dumped on. And what they won't admit is they only like the version of you that said yes to everything, even when it cost you your peace. Okay? We got to start choosing growth, and sometimes that's going to look like abandonment to the people who expected you to stay small. You ever notice like how people will support you until you really start thriving? As long as you struggling and they can tell people how they helped you, or you stand in the place they want you to be in, they clapping for you. But the moment you grew beyond their comfort, suddenly now you thinking you better. Your healing, it may disrupt their dysfunction, but that's not your fault. Okay? And it's not that I change, I just stopped carrying chaos. And people be mad because you put that shit down without asking a permission. So in my opinion, it ain't no villains. It's just people telling their different versions of the truth. So everyone is the villain in somebody's story. That doesn't mean you're toxic. It doesn't mean you owe anybody an apology. It just means they experience you through the lens of their own pain. You don't have to keep explaining, justifying, or even defending choices, especially to people who are dead set on being committed to misunderstanding you. So here's your permission slip, baby. Walk away clean. You ain't got to clear your name. Let them talk. Let them post. Let them tweet. Let them do whatever the fuck. Your job is to keep living in your peace and not proving your innocence. My daddy says to me, the truth never needs no explanation. And this is why setting boundaries at the start is very important, and not when the shit hits the fan either. Because I will admit, my toxic trait is I let shit build up before I say something. You know, I mean, it's the Aquarius in me, because I won't give you the satisfaction to know that I even give a damn. If I do give a damn, which 9 times out of 10, I don't give a damn. So I just hold it in and I just keep moving. I give excuses and passes, because shit, we all have those off days. You know, your kids might be getting on your damn nerves. Your dude, he might not be acting right. No, I don't know. Shit happens. But then it keeps on happening. And that's when my blood starts boiling. And then, damn, before you know it, now my top is blown. I'm getting better at it, but I'm noticing, and I'm, like I said, I can be honest with myself. It's very passive aggressive. You know, like one day I had some piping hot tea. Okay, so I called one of my friends. Now this friend is, you know, she is notorious for not answering her phone. We know this about her, and it's cool. We done talked about it. I know it's not personal. I make a point that when I want to, like, tell her something, if it's something important, then I call her. If it's not really important, I'll just text her and she'll get back to me. It's no whatever. But anyway, I called her the other day. No surprise. She didn't answer her phone. She texted me later, and she was like, well, I'm making moves. I'm going to hit you back later. I was like, okay. Later turned into almost 48 hours. It wasn't a biggie, but when she called, I couldn't even get hello out, and she was already going into her tea. Now, her tea was juicy. I was there for it. But after she was done, you know, in a passive way, I was like, well, damn, I'm thinking you were calling me back to see what I wanted, and instead you dumped all of yours on me. So now is it my turn? And she was like, oop. And I was like, oop. Okay, yes. I spilled my tea. It was lukewarm at that point, but even though it was passive aggressive, I did let her know how I felt in my own way, and that made me feel better. Okay? 2 things for sure. Now, you can call me anything. Don't call me collect. But if you gonna say Montanna is the villain in the story, just make sure you spell my name right, because I do spell Montanna with 2 N's. Now, y'all, let's reset this energy just a little bit. With all this talk of villains and vibes, we need something sweet, and that is where our Pineapple Kisses comes into play, y'all. It is sweet, it is juicy, and it gives you glow and go energy. It pairs well with the Pineapple Kisses body bars and the butter sticks. So if you want that full effect, you gotta get all 3. All right, it's giving I smell booked and busy. Okay, it smells I am booked on a flight and he paid for it. It is lightweight, summer ready, and it layers beautifully for soft skin and confidence. One of my sweet baes, or she left a review on this. So shout out to my sweet bae, Dr. N. And she says, the body oil kept my skin hydrated the entire day. Who needs Bath and Body Works? A little even goes a long way. And she ain't never lied. She ain't never lied. So thank you for that. Y'all make sure, like I said, you rush on over to Sweet Kitty Club and you check out our products. I love them. Okay, and my baes love them too. Over 700 reviews on the website. But anyway, now y'all, it is time for our Dear Kitty segment, and this is where you send me your confessions, your questions, and I do what I do best. I listen with love. I'm going to give a little wisdom, and I never judge, even if it sounds like I am. So thank y'all for submitting your letters to me. Y'all know I love it that y'all put me in y'all group chat, y'all. But today's Dear Kitty, it's got me feeling a little exposed. Okay, this one right here, it had me hollering, and the letter reads, Dear Kitty, I've stopped taking women out on real dates because too many of them are just using men for a meal. I've had girls order lobster, drinks, desserts, then block me by the time I got to the parking lot. Be honest. Do women even want relationships anymore, or is dating just about running up tabs, getting flown out, and getting attention? Okay. First of all, sir, I'm going to need you to take a deep, deep breath, step away from the seafood towel. But to answer your question, yes, some people use folk. Are you usable? That's the question. No, but seriously, way back in the gap, y'all, when I was single and I was a single mom, I won't hold y'all. This is why I'm hollering. This story, it just really feels so similar, okay? But anyway, back in the day, I was a single mom. My oldest, she's 30 now, but she was about 2 at the time. I met this guy out on the scene. We chatted on the phone a few times, and when I was just about let him down easy, tell him don't call me no more, he suggested that we should go for early dinner to Cheddar's. So I'm like, hell yeah. Butter croissant rolls, here I come. So he comes to my apartment. He picks us up. We go to Cheddar's. We're eating. I'm happy because it was probably the only meal that I had that day. And so once my stomach was full, I was ready to go. So he was like trying to make small talk, asking me, was I cool? Just kept asking questions. And so Zay, she was like, she had enough. She said, stop talking to my mama because she don't even like you. Yeah, and then went back to licking her ice cream and eating her Cookie Monster, y'all. Talk about embarrassed, okay? This girl repeated the exact conversation that she heard me telling my homegirl before me and the dude went on a date. So he looking at Zay, he looking at me, he looking at her, he looking at me. He like, let's go. So he pissed. Y'all, I remember it was like in the dead heat of the summer. He was driving erratic on the bridge, mumbling. If I didn't have my daughter, he'd put my ass out and make me walk. Baby, I was so happy. He didn't even take me to he did make me walk like a little bit. Like he took me to the apartments, but he didn't take me to my door. You know what I'm saying? But I was so happy. I had learned 3 lessons that day. And that really kind of shaped how I started dating going forward. Number 1, you got to drive your own damn car when you don't know a mofo. Number 2, don't say shit in front of your damn kids or toddlers because they talk too much. And number 3, if it's not a love connection, it's a no-go. Okay? I don't care how many lobster tails and spicy margaritas I can order. You know what? Wait a minute. Is this you, gold teeth? Did you send me this? I don't know. Anyway, fellas, you can't be mad when, you're inviting these women out and there is no love connection. If you don't want to risk somebody enjoying your company for the wrong reason, then don't lead with appetizers and vibes. Women aren't obligated to fall in love with you just because you bought them dinner. Connection is earned, not purchased. So let's stop assuming that a date equals a contract. We're grown. So if your budget is that tight, sir, you need to sit this one out, okay? You mad because you paid for a date and didn't get a return on your investment. And that's not her problem. That's an expectation problem. Taking someone out is a gesture, not a transaction. I know for some, but not in this situation. You wanted romance, but you're dating like you doing a loyalty punch card. So start dating with intention, not entitlement. And if you want somebody who values you, you need to lead with value yourself. I don't know, y'all. This one right here, this was a whole word. I don't know. But before we get into our final segment, I really want to hear from y'all. How would you have responded to this man's letter? I don't know. Have you ever gone on a date just for food, or is it just me? I don't know. Drop it in the chat. Let's talk about it. But listen, repeat after me. I don't have to be small to be safe. I can choose myself without apology. I don't owe anyone access to the healed version of me they didn't help build. And then I want you to send this episode to a friend who's tired of being misunderstood. Let's stop shrinking. Let them write their villain story while we write the checks. So if there's one thing that I want you to walk away with today, it's this. There is so much peace in letting go of the need to be understood by everybody. You're not responsible for the version of you that lives in someone else's head. And you don't have to shrink. You don't have to explain or overextend just to stay likable. Sometimes you will be the villain in somebody's story. And you know what? That's okay. So, yeah, I might be the villain in your version, but I'm the hero in mine. And I finally am not apologizing for that shit. Because people will twist your growth into a grudge that they can hold on to. And you can keep trying to fix a version of the story you didn't write. You can't keep trying to do that. Because there's really freedom in saying, I know who I am, I know what I mean, I know what I'm doing to negotiate my peace for me. I'm not going to negotiate my peace for someone else. Let them talk, let them assume you just keep glowing. But make sure you catch the Diddy trial breakdown on the After Parties YouTube channel. And if you want to submit to Dear Kitty again, email me at pinktableconfidential@gmail.com, especially if it's spicy. I hope you like this episode. Y'all know closed mouths don't get fed, so I'm going to ask that you like, that you comment, that you share. That's going to help my podcast grow, and I need that. So remember, I am now on all platforms, so wherever you like to hear your podcast, that's where you can find me. Now, today we talked about being the villain, but next week we're going to be answering a real question. What if I'm the problem? Y'all ready for that kind of honesty? Well, I hope you are, because I'm ready to dive in it. And until next time, I want y'all to stay soft, stay grounded, and let them write their story while you live yours. And remember, happy women don't hate, and hating women ain't happy. Thank you for tuning in to Pink Table Confidential.